And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Wednesday, February 17th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is a Wednesday morning, and I'll be honest, it's looking a little bit better. The sun is actually shining a few minutes ago. I don't know if it still is or not. I can't tell from where I sit. But here on Wednesday, we're ready to talk about Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. And on the phone this morning, I have Bob McDonald. He is President and Chief Executive Officer of Cedarstone. Bob, good morning to you.
Coleman, good morning. Great to be with you.
Well,
I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks, so it's good to be back. And thanks for letting me join you by telephone this morning.
Well, I think that's the way most people are going to join me today, if you want to know the truth. And I don't blame them. I made it fine this morning, very little traffic on the road, but I probably didn't get over 30 miles an hour either. Anyway, I know that banks need to be open. One of the good things, though, and we might want to talk about this. We never rehearse this, but the fact that you can bank online, you can do so many things if you have computer access, and you can stay off the road and don't have to visit the bank. But you will be open, right?
That is right, Coleman. We were closed yesterday. We were just wanted to be safe with our employees and our customers, but today we will be open our regular hours at all three locations. First, let me give you a traffic report.
All right.
I'm driving in. You know, we live down in the western part of the county, down in the Mount Juliet area, and I'm on Highway 70, almost at 109, and roads are good. I mean, there's still snow on the road. There's still ice on the road, but cars are moving along just fine, and there's not a lot of volume on the roads, but we're able to make it in just fine. So for your listeners who are out in that area, just know that you can get around. Just be safe and drive slow.
Well, I have an idea with the ominous weather report that we've got for tonight and tomorrow that there are probably going to be a few more people out today, and it's probably a good thing you want to have your doors open because you're probably going to have a few people going to be dropping in for something they really need to get it done now.
Well, that's exactly right. That's one of the main reasons that we wanted to get open today, and is because we were not open Monday because of President's Day and then the snow yesterday. So we know businesses and families need to do their banking, so we're going to be there. And you know, Thursday is uncertain. They're predicting weather for Thursday, as you know, very similar to what we had yesterday. So
and more snow.
Not certain.
And more snow.
Yeah, so we're not certain what we'll be doing tomorrow, but we'll certainly get that out on all of our social media platforms once we know for sure. But we are open today, all three locations, regular hours.
And if somebody needs to borrow some money today might be the best day this week to do that, Bob.
Today might be that day. And to touch on what you mentioned in your opening comments was, of course, with we have all the electronic banking programs available, so you can go on our website, you can access your accounts online or by telephone, so you can still do all those routine type of transactions electronically.
Well, it's really so nice that I think that banking has changed a lot in 20, 30 years. I don't know how long it's been since we had the internet, since the 90s, I guess. So we're talking about a lot of innovation and changes in the last 30 years here, and it is good to know that you're right to cutting edge there, and so much that you can do if that's the way you want to do it. But there's still nothing like coming in, shaking hands, sitting down, maybe having some coffee at the Cedarstone Cafe, and looking eyeball to eyeball, Bob.
That's right. We really enjoy that. Of course, we know it's important to have all the electronic banking features, but we really enjoy our customers coming in and visiting and seeing us. You know, we're seeing a lot more traffic with our drive-throughs now, just with the whole COVID situation. But our lobbies are open. They have been throughout 2020. We were closed there, Coleman. You remember back in April for for about 30 days in terms of our lobbies. But we're back open full time, have been, and expect to continue to be.
Well, we are remiss if we don't always mention free checking. You have a really wonderful account because there's more to it than just no charge for checking. There's more goes with it, and you explain this briefly every time, and we don't want to miss that opportunity today.
Yeah, thanks, Coleman. We do believe that our Simply Free checking account is the cornerstone of our bank, and it is completely free in every way: free checks, free online banking with bill pay. You can use your Cedarstone ATM card in any ATM in the world, and it's free. We reimburse any third-party fees. So that feature is very important and very popular. So we'd like to remind your listeners of that. If they don't bank with us, it's been honored and our pleasure to visit with them and talk about banking at Cedarstone.
Well, that's one thing. I mean, there may be other banks that offer free checking, but I wonder if any or many of them do reimburse any foreign debit card fee or credit card fee. That's really a good thing. And if you're traveling and do quite a bit of that can be several dollars, Bob, and the bank picks it up.
It sure does. It certainly adds up over time, and it's especially good for folks who travel a lot, or for families who may have children in college in another city. They can, still deposit money into their account, and then they can use their ATM card at some location wherever they are in school. So it can be very convenient for a lot of different people.
Well, our time's about up here, but good to have you with us this morning as always, and hope that by next Wednesday we've got a little bit warmer weather and it's looking a little bit more like spring, because you and I both are not cold weather people, right?
No, sir, not at all. It's a little too cold for me, but great being with you, and stay safe, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, same to you. Thanks much. That's Bob McDonald right there. Bob is President, CEO, Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. All right, this is going to be the day for the telephone, I think, and I'm going to switch telephone lines now and go to line 2, and I think Mark Hinesley is here and ready to talk with us this morning. Mark, are you there?
Good morning, Coleman. I'm out on location out in northwest Wilson County.
Well, good morning to you. And I don't blame anybody for using the telephone on a day like this if they can. And we've looked at each other eyeball to eyeball across the table and the little desks here for several months. And I don't think we're going to miss a beat this morning of you being on the telephone. But I hope you're doing well.
I appreciate it. I looked at my auto deductible this morning and thought, you know what, I better just stay in the house for a little while. So according to Bob, the roads are all right, so I'll be at the office in 45 minutes. So how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I tell you what, though, yesterday, I have never seen the amount of ice. Now, this was just ice on my car and on the windshield. It was about an inch thick, and I got out there early trying to get it off. And, of course, those that were listening yesterday know I had to borrow my wife's car. It's in the garage, and it didn't have any snow or ice on it. So, thankfully, I got to use that to get here. But I spent about an hour yesterday afternoon, about 3 o'clock, just getting all that ice off the car. And I'm telling you, I've never seen it like that. And of course, you know.
I tell people I was born up north, but I got here as quick as I could. And I got to. These are days that make me remember why I never want to move another mile north of Mount Juliet. I can tell you that.
I don't know whether I introduced you properly or not. Of course, Mark Hinesley joins us once a month to talk about the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce in Wilson County and things that are happening. And he is the CEO, but we call that Chief Encouragement Officer. So now that we've got a proper introduction, pick it up and go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you for the kind words. And I always look forward to this and apologize for not being there, because coming over and hanging out and having a cup of coffee and seeing Billy and MJ and you, it kind of gets my day off to a good start, and it's one that I look forward to every month. And if I'm not mistaken, I usually am followed by maybe Rick Bell. Is that correct?
He'll be on the second half today, and I understand he's going to be calling in as well.
Well, I early this morning, really early, several hours ago, just was randomly looking at random holidays in Tennessee, and today is National Random Acts of Kindness Day. So I thought, boy, what a great day that'll be. But also for our historian, who we're lucky to have in Mayor Bell and others like him in Wilson County. But being from the north, I guess I had just always assumed that Tennessee got the volunteer name by the Alamo, because I think of Sam Houston and Davy Crockett and going out to the Alamo. But dig a little bit deeper, those two were actually soldiers in the War of 1812 with Andrew Jackson down in New Orleans. And I know Sam Houston had an office in Lebanon, but for Rick's benefit, he probably already knows this, but I think on this day is the anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Ghent, ending the War of 1812 for Wilson County. And Sam Houston and Davy Crockett, local guys, went on and hung out and lived their lives until the Alamo. So there you go, Rick. How about that?
We'll probably get another history lesson from him in about 30 minutes.
Yes, we will, but that's all right. Hey, your listeners are learning stuff. So no, he's awesome to listen to, and his history is just incredible. But no, it is probably a momentous day in the history of Wilson County, I guess. But we have a lot going on, and I know that we're about to go to a break. But since we spoke the last time, we had our annual banquet. And I know you've been the recipient of the Wilsonian of the Year award, and our awards were a little bit different this year, but on January 28th, we did a live recording, if you will. Volunteers and board members spent weeks putting together about a 90-minute program on 2020, if you will, starting off with the tornado, and it was kind of a remembrance, reflection, and of the year, and we identified a number of chamber champions, if you will, and recognized them in lieu of our normal awards. But that was a great program, and it's probably time for a break, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Right? If you're ready, well, I'm ready. And I know
I'll
MJ's
pick up where I left off. How's
so
that?
let's take a break here on Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And it's 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Bates Ford, and they've got the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're about to wrap up this earlier crash where this white SUV flipped here on 65 northbound at Dickerson Pike. This should be cleared up in just a few more minutes as traffic volume starts to not only increase here in this area, but coming down I-40 through Mount Juliet. Over in Wilson County, they're still over there on the scene of that jackknifed 18-wheeler blocking traffic on Central Pike near Galen Marie Drive. Right now, teachers and students get 15% off all orders at Donut Distillery, located 311 Gallatin Avenue in East Nashville. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
She's taken care of you your whole life. Now it's your turn to take care of her. But with a family of your own and other responsibilities, there just aren't enough hours in the day. That's why it might be time to call the Pavilion Senior Living. From bathing, dressing, housekeeping, and meals, the Pavilion Senior Living is committed to being senior living you can trust for your loved one. Find out more at pavilionseniorliving.com or call 444-5556. That's 444-5556.
The Farm Bureau Expo is your premier location for an event of any scale, making meeting in the middle easy and accessible for event planners and guests. The Expo proudly participates in the Tennessee Pledge to allow our guests to attend events with confidence. For booking details or to explore events to attend, visit farmbureauexpo.com or check out our Facebook page at Farm Bureau Expo. We look forward to seeing you at the Farm Bureau Expo in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. I am on the phone here with Mark Heinzley with the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. We're just talking during the break here about the bad weather we have known about. I don't know that we need to repeat that on the air here, but let's pick up where we left off, Mark. You and I and Bob McDonald all are not really fans of cold weather, and you said you came south to avoid some of that you experienced in the north years ago.
Yeah, I see some pictures from friends and stuff that are using their snow blowers on their roofs up in Michigan and in northern Indiana. And I saw a video this morning. It's actually a magnificent video. Niagara Falls that's freezing over. The water's still coming in places, but it's always, when that happens, it's a spectacular sight.
Yeah.
So now we talked about our annual banquet that we had back in January since we spoke, and today, of course, is the day that the sales tax figures come out from the state, and that's always a hold your breath, but the way things are trending, I have no reason to think that we won't set even another record this month, and that's probably been, 8 months in a row or something like that, 7 or 8 months. So that's good for all of Wilson County. And today at lunchtime, 11:30, much like others are having to do, you find a new way to deliver this good information. But Mayor James Maness, the mayor of Mount Juliet, will be presenting live our State of the City address online at 11:30, and we still have some seats for that. If you're interested, call or email the chamber, go to our website. You can tune into our State of the City address. That's always good. And this will be Mayor Maness's first one. But want to also remind folks and let them know that on Tuesday night, 2 weeks from last night, Coleman, on March the 2nd, at 5:45 p.m., we will be hosting a candlelight community vigil, if you will, in on the 1-year anniversary of the tornado that struck Wilson County and others. But probably 20 or 30 minutes, just we couldn't let that day go by without remembering and reflecting on the tragedy, but also the community spirit that came out of that day, and really all across Wilson County. We're going to meet at the clock tower. You can park at the train station, come down and hear a few inspirational messages, and take a minute and just kind of remember where we came from, I guess.
Yeah, so, I was about to interrupt there and ask you just what this was going to be like, but it's not going to be a lengthy thing, but a time to reflect and to remember. And I guess for so many, even though we suffered some damage, to count our blessings, because it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that's right. And I just hate to say it, but we're kind of making it up as we go. What we did know was that we didn't want to wake up on the 3rd or the 4th and missed an opportunity to take a break for a minute and kind of remember back. So we'll have probably last less than 30 minutes. It'll probably be a little chilly out, and we waited. The last train goes by at 5:37, so we'll be able to hear a couple of speakers at 5:45. I hope people take time to come and join us. And that hopefully is something that will become maybe an annual tradition. We'll see. But certainly was a very impactful day for Wilson County, that's for sure. So probably like others, we're slowly creeping back into in-person events and working with our medical professionals. So we were fortunate to have representatives on our board of directors from both Vanderbilt and TriStar. They have eyeballed and put hands on our meeting facilities, and we've come to a plan that will allow us to follow all the guidelines and still begin to get back in person and doing it safely. So we're excited about that. And even our own workforce development director, Adina, has graciously offered to come and be our speaker at our March lunch in a month from now on the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, at the Marriott in Lebanon, with a limited number of seats. The rest of the folks can tune in virtually, but met with her one day last week and very impressed, and Wilson County seems to be in good hands with her, and I'm looking forward to helping her with her endeavors, bridging that gap between education and the workforce. So looking forward to that. But got a plethora of new businesses that are are already in Mount Juliet, West Wilson County, and folks usually like to hear about some of this, and I got a little list. Of course, the Apartments Vintage Station, very trendy, one-of-a-kind product located right in the middle of Mount Juliet by the train station. They're opening and leasing, and what some people don't know is there are a number of offices available for lease in there. So if you want to be right in the heart of Mount Juliet, go over and check that out. But we've opened 3 new Dollar Generals and TriStar Moving. I think you've heard them talk about the Candied Rib Company. They took the place of the former Pizza Hut location and got a new bagel shop out in Paddocks and a new coffee shop called Just Love over on Belinda Parkway across from Jason's Deli that's really popular. Mint Edition, a new pet store in Valley Center, 2 karate studios, the Golden Bear Academy and the Goddard Learning Academy are both open. Where outside the front door of Belk is the NY Pizzeria. A lot of folks excited about that. Of course, Christian Brothers opened up on Lebanon Road, and everybody's anxiously awaiting Amazon on board, and they're already doing job fairs right now, staffing up, and get a chance to drive by there every once in a while. That building is beyond fantastic. Never really seen anything that big before, but they're going to hopefully be a great community partner. And
well, you're talking about a number of businesses there, and I'm just wondering, we have an awful lot of residential growth here in Lebanon. Are you building apartments and a lot of new homes and all of this in the Mount Juliet area too?
As a matter of fact, our planning commission agenda really is more residential than it is commercial. And Vintage Station opened up, I guess, probably 60 days ago, 90 days ago, maybe, 212 units right there by the train station. And then there was another apartment complex just north of Lebanon Road on Nonneville Road. And that's, while it's new construction, it's not a new approval. That has been zoned and approved for that development for, I don't know, probably close to 20 years, maybe even longer, if I'm not mistaken, a long time. So that's not something that just recently got passed, although the construction and the undertaking is very recent. But beyond that, I'm not aware of any for rent apartments that are even in the pipeline in Mount Juliet, except for the Providence Central development. And I think we either talked about that or we need to take a whole day and talk about that because that's a massive development over off of Central Pike. And there'll be an apartment complex that's already under construction, but a lot of residential, and probably the one that's got the most people most excited, I guess excited good or bad, is the repurposing of Wind Tree Golf Course.
Mm-hmm.
That's making its way through the pipeline, and I think you'll see a nice residential development out at off of Nonneville Road, and there'll be the appropriate road construction, sidewalks, stoplights, and enhancements as that comes along. But I have to tell you, the opening of a $106 million high school, if that's what it cost, Green Hill High School in the middle of town, the opening of a new high school is quite a draw for residential and commercial construction.
Mm-hmm.
That's we're blessed to have that. Had the opportunity to go through that, I guess, a month or so ago. And if you haven't had a chance to see it or any of the schools, I can assure the taxpayers that their money's being well spent, and that is something that we can be very, very proud of. So excited about that, and we'll all be glad when Stoner Creek and West Wilson Middle School begin to get torn down and the old scraped away and the new come to life. I know there's a lot of families, and none of us like driving through there and seeing that. A lot of families were impacted, and hopefully we'll get that going. But Harmony is a massive assisted living facility. It's just absolutely beautiful on Belinda Parkway. And 2 new hotels, lots of residential. Grade A Construction's building their corporate headquarters right up there on Lebanon Road. Then, of course, the bridge over I-40 on Mount Juliet Road. We've got some odd traffic patterns right now, but construction's underway, and that's probably, I don't know, it's probably a year away, I guess. But that'll be a huge traffic relief for us.
Well, Mark, I was going to mention that if you didn't. I've noticed just your little lane shift as far as interstate goes. Now, I'm not sure about the over road there, but as far as interstate goes, so far it hasn't been any hindrance really at all.
No, it's kind of an eye-popping occurrence when you're going south on Mount Juliet Road following a big truck, and the truck veers to the left to go around the thing, and you don't realize that they've put those concrete barriers and made you shift, so you better keep your eyes open. But no, they've got the equipment all staged out there, and that's gonna go a good little ways back. That new lane they'll be carving out land right clear down as far as Cheddar's. It's not even a little bit farther away from the interstate.
Oh, wow.
So it's all flagged and marked, and they'll do everything they can to mitigate the traffic issues and things like that if everybody's just patient. It's what we all wanted, better car movement, traffic movement out there, and there's a price to pay for that.
Yeah.
And just ask everybody to be patient, and I think they've got a lot of signage, and don't be in a hurry when you get out there, and a year from now we'll be glad they're doing it. So then, of course, Wilson County right down through the middle is Highway 109, and if you drive that, you see that they're making progress on that every day. So we'll be glad to have that out of the way, and I know that came out of the Improve Act, or at least the speeding up of it. So we appreciate that. But no, lots going on, and kind of feel like I'm getting a late start at it this morning. So I hope everything's all right when I get to town.
Well, we are out of time here, but it's good to hear you, and I guess we'll do it again next month. Maybe you can come and be with us in the studio next time. I hope so.
Don't forget, wear green because it'll be on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Great day.
All right. Mark, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Coleman.
All right. Mark Hinesley with the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. And that's part one of Coleman and Company. Hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. 7:31 now. And it's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota, Red Max, complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner, with up to a 4-year warranty. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. The police still on the scene of that jackknife 18-wheeler that occurred earlier in Wilson County over there on Central Pike at Galen Marie Drive. We've had some problems over in parts of Mount Juliet as well, over on Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Look, if you have to get out and about and all this, please just use caution and common sense. Sometimes you can be just going along down the interstate. Next thing you know, you hit some ice, and I'm talking about you on the radio. Hey, Ripley's Aquarium in the Smokies will be hosting Sleep of the Sharks coming up March 27th. Check it out, Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Bob McDonough with Cedarstone Bank. We know there are times when financial circumstances can be complicated for families and businesses, but we do not believe the solutions need to be. That's why for 15 years we've been delivering simple banking to our customers while still offering all services and products. We're thankful for our customers and the communities that we serve. If you don't bank with us, it would be our pleasure to visit with you and talk about how simple banking is simply better.
Cedarstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. This is Philip Etherly with Absolute Rental and Supply. Whether it's cleaning, painting, remodeling, or simply getting better organized, we have the tools and equipment to get the job done. Scaffolding, paint sprayers, ladders, power saws, portable heaters, temporary lighting, generators, hardwood floor staplers. From wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, Absolute Rental has what you need. Call 615-443-RENT. Absolute Rental and Supply. We have what you need.
Today it's going to get very cold with highs only topping out in the mid-30s with cloudy skies. By tonight, a wintry mix is possible, so use caution on the roadways. Another wintry mix is in the forecast again on Thursday morning, so stay weather aware. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist T.J. Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part two. Here on this Wednesday morning, we want to welcome Philip Etherly. He is right here to talk about Absolute Rental and Supply. Good morning.
Morning, Coleman.
We've already had a good conversation. It would have been a good commercial, really, but the thing you said you've really been doing, propane gas.
Yeah, we have been filling propane literally just
we've I had them come yesterday and top the tank off because we were, I think it was Saturday, maybe we ran out, or we had ran out Friday and got some filled on Saturday. So we want to make sure we keep our tanks topped off on that. But as we were talking, I'm amazed at how many people need propane. They're, for whatever situation, they may be living in an RV right now while they're building a house, or whatever the situation may be. But it's pretty humbling to see people come in and say, listen, we've got to have propane. We're going to freeze, that type of deal.
Well, we usually start off giving your phone number, but I'm going to give you your location here. And if you need propane, you got plenty.
Yeah, we've got plenty. You got
1325 West Main, Absolute Rental. I want to say Absolute Kubota for some reason this morning, but Kubota's on down the street now. Yeah. But you've been there for almost 20 years, and you can't hardly miss it if you get within. You get
half
all
a mile
the signs,
either side. Exactly.
All the signs there on West Main. You can find it if you can get there, and you're open. Be open today till what?
Till 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you do want to remember their phone number too. If you get lost, call 615-443-RENT, RENT, and of course that's the number to call for anything that you need to either buy or rent at Absolute Rental. Now, so propane is probably the number one thing right now.
Yeah, we've been extremely busy on propane. There are still people renting things, needing things. I know several years ago I mentioned on the radio talking about when it's extremely cold like it is right now. A lot of times if people know that they have a water line that may not be to the proper depth, 18 inches is ideal in our area. But if you have a problem with a water line freezing and all, you can come get straw and stack bales of straw over that shallow area, and that will kind of help insulate that pipe and keep it from freezing. Like I said, for some reason I was thinking about it on my way in this morning that I had mentioned that one time before. But we do have straw. People need straw, but a little prevention like that will keep that line from freezing, and therefore will allow you to continue to have water in your house.
Well, a word to the wise here from Philip Etherly, because you've experienced this, you've seen it help people, and if that's the best you can do, it might save you.
It really does. I mean, just a little inconvenience. The straw is not very expensive. Stack 3 or 4 bales on top of that area, get it taken care of. Of course, we also have the torpedo heaters and the forced air heaters. If you've got problems underneath your house, a lot of times you can direct that underneath your house and warm up those pipes under the house. Hopefully it's going to start warming up. I think Sunday's going to be in the 40s. So I'm hoping this stuff will kind of move on out. But there are some things, we're still there to help people if they need it.
And if you're not sure, you've got nearly 20 years experience just in this. So call 615-443-RENT. You'll be glad to answer questions, help anybody out that's got a problem here.
Exactly. There's a lot of times, we had a guy call in yesterday wanting to rent a Bobcat to move some dirt. Well, you're not going to be able to move dirt right now. The ground's so frozen, and there's ice on top of it, so you get no traction. So, we were able to say, listen, that's not going to work today. And so he was very appreciative that we, he didn't waste him
a trip and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway.
Well, that's one of the things that I really appreciate. Now, I haven't done a lot of business with you. I'll confess I haven't. But to hear, I have bought some sealer from you a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I rented something, one of those
aerators. There you go.
I have done that much. But I appreciate about you. I mean, you're there to make money. There's no question. And that's you got to make a living, and you people at work there have. But you're there to help people. And I appreciate your business and the way you handle this and the way you really look out for people. You're looking out for your equipment, but you're looking out for them too.
Exactly. We want them to be able to get the job done and get it done and without tearing up our equipment as well. For example, there's a guy's got a reservation, I think, for Friday for an aerator. Well, we're going to call that guy and say, no, our aerator's not going to work right now. Of course, I look back, he made the reservation on February 2nd. So he didn't know the weather was going to be in the situation it is now. But, we want it to be a win-win. We want the customer to be able to get their project done, and we don't want our equipment tore up. Or, if the customer rents it, comes back, he doesn't necessarily have to tear it up, but it doesn't work. It doesn't do the job he's wanting to get done. Then he's aggravated, and we're wanting to avoid that situation.
Right. And you
So-
work really hard to do that, to avoid those.
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
it right the first time.
Exactly, yeah.
But
Yeah.
one more thing we might mention quickly here, Philip. If you are wanting to rent one of these pieces of equipment, don't have means of transportation, you do deliver.
We do deliver, yep, and it's
Not only you deliver and come and pick it up.
yeah, deliver and pick up. Yep, we've got it. Like I say, we're a little slow in that. I did deliver a piece of equipment a day or so ago, and so but anyway, we're still available if people need us.
Right. And everything's not going to happen today, but if you can't do it today, you probably can next week when it warms up. So keep it all in mind. And remember that phone number, 615-443-RENT, and Absolute Rental Supplies located at 1325 West Main. Anything before you go?
No, everybody try to stay warm.
Stay warm
and
stay safe.
Exactly.
That's
yep.
what everybody
says.
All right. Thank you a lot.
All
See
right,
you next week. Philip Etherly, Absolute Rental and Supply. We're about 21 before the hour. I am going to the telephone now, and Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell is waiting for his turn this morning. Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
We are glad to have you with us today. I think we had a virtual meeting last night, and regardless of whether we even did or not, you and I always have plenty to talk about. And so welcome again to our program.
Well, thank you. We did meet last night, and that's one of the good things about technology these days. And we're accustomed to being on Zoom. So with that being in place, we did not have to cancel last night. So the city business continued. But before I talk about that, though, I do want to thank the city employees for the work they've done this week. The Public Works Department, the Street Department, they've been out there salting and brining the streets and scraping and they really started that before the weather hit in preparation and so they're out there trying to make sure the streets are as clear as possible. And I talk to Lee Clark all the time. He's in charge of that. He told me that of course the primary roads are the first thing they go after. Then they go to the secondary routes, but his goal is to make sure that everyone in the city is at least 2 blocks away from a clear street.
Mm-hmm.
And so to make transportation as easy as possible. But, we still, want to recommend that people stay home if that's possible. But they are out there working. Of course, the police department, they're still out there helping people, and the fire department. But it's not just them. The gas department, those guys are making sure we still have heat. And the water department is making sure the water still flows. So there's a lot of people out there working, and I really appreciate everything they're doing.
Well, I guess we might mention, get these emails from your office, from Debbie Jessen. I believe city offices are closed today, and I think it said the garbage trucks won't go again today. Is that right?
That is true. We're closed today. The offices are, but I want people to know that the city staff, they're working from home. So if anyone needs assistance, they are there for them. And if you need to pay a bill, you can pay online, and of course we have the drop box at City Hall as well. But sanitation is not running today. You're right about that, Coleman. And this afternoon at 3:00, we're having a meeting with department heads to kind of determine how the rest of the week is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a little warmer out there later today, but, we keep hearing that we're going to get some more weather tonight. So we have to plan for that as well. And I want to thank my department heads, too. Monday was actually a holiday for the city, but they still, we met through Zoom and got together and discussed the plans for the week. And so yesterday we were closed, and today as well. But later today, we'll send out word about what's going to happen the rest of the week.
Well, as if I understand the forecast right, maybe the snow that's possibly coming in here may be more than we've had earlier. And with even, we've still got quite a bit of ice underneath whatever little snow we've got so far. If we get more snow on that, it's not going to be a pretty sight until it warms up over the weekend.
It's not, and the next few days it's just going to be rough. As Philip said, it's going to warm up this weekend, and I'll be glad when that happens. But right now we're just taking it day to day.
Yeah, and the thing about this, we haven't had all that much snow, but before when it has snowed, it was in the 40s maybe, and a lot of it melted as soon as it hit the ground. What little accumulation we had was gone in a half a day or something. But when it gets down below 20 degrees, it's cold, and it was 16 in my car thermometer this morning, so that's about it, I think. And 16 degrees and not getting over freezing for 4 or 5 days here makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, it does, and one thing I learned is that, if the sun's shining and it's, in the 20s, like upper 20s, then the streets start to clear up.
Mm-hmm.
But if it never gets to that point and the sun doesn't shine, then, it doesn't go away. And, this is the first time we've had weather like this in several years. I can remember, when I was a kid, we were out of school for a month one time, and I hear about the blues that we had back in the 1950s a lot, but we haven't had this kind of weather in a while.
That's right, and then we're probably due one, and so many times, I think if you'll look back, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody wants to, and you're a historian, you might, but we've had some rough Februaries, and this year is one of them. It's not as bad as it has been a few times before, but we don't know what's coming in tonight and tomorrow. We'll wait and see.
Well, and the strange thing about our weather is you're right. We've had rough Februaries in our past, and we've had weather like this. And I remember the Valentine's Day flood, that we had back in the 80s, and we have all kinds of weather here. As people say, just if you want to see the weather change a lot, just live in Tennessee.
I think you got that right. Mayor, we need to take a break right here. We've got a lot more to talk about. Mayor Rick Bell with us this morning.
Gregory
It's time
Dental.
for us to take a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's go ahead and see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford. Bates Ford has the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day, up to 30 days after the sale. There'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There's still a couple of accidents out here getting some attention, including that jackknife truck that happened earlier over there in Wilson County on Central Pike and Galen Marie Drive. There's still some very dangerous slick spots out here. Please don't get too overconfident as you come down the interstate and everything looks fine. Earlier, that's what a car thought when it was taking that ramp on 65 northbound there at Dickerson Pike, and it flipped. So please be careful. Ripley's Aquarium in the Smokies will be hosting Sleep of the Sharks coming up March 27th. All the details at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
I'm Randy Salas, inviting you to listen to me and Jake Hood as we broadcast the 2021 Cumberland University baseball season. You won't want to miss any of the action in Coach Woody Hunt's final season at the helm of the Phoenix. All home games will be broadcast this year, weekday games on WCOR 1490 AM and weekend and night games on both WCOR and WANT FM 98.9. All games can be seen and heard on GoCumberlandAthletics.com at no charge, and you can also get your scheduling information there. Congratulations, Coach Woody Hunt, and go Phoenix.
We continue here on this Wednesday morning. Mayor Rick Bell is on the phone with us. You were telling me during the break here you couldn't come out here, but you thought, why take a chance? You can get on the phone here. It's cold, and I bet it's warm and toasty. You at home?
I'm at home. I'm in my home office right now, and actually I'm watching the cat outside my door, so we're all warm here.
We mentioned earlier that we had a city council meeting last night, and then we got off of that, didn't talk much about it. Of course, you had it by Zoom, and that's nice, too. Actually, with COVID, that's important, but on a night like last night, they're probably, your city council people would much rather do a Zoom meeting than to have to brave the elements. So it works either way.
Oh, absolutely. And, with the way things were last night, I don't know that we could have had a city council meeting, and without Zoom. And, I want to get the meetings back in person as soon as possible, but in the meantime, Zoom works really well for us.
Yeah. What else, what did you do that we need to talk about this morning?
Well, last night, right now, people talk about growth a lot, and we had several things come through last night on first reading, some rezoning requests, and I just want to say there are a couple that were deferred. One in Ward 1 with Joey Carmack, there was deferral for that one, and that was, I think that was a joint effort between him and the developer to get some things taken care of to make Joey feel better about it before that comes through. That was for some townhouses out on North Castlights Avenue. And then out in Ward 4 with Chris Crowell, there was an industrial zoning that he deferred for something that he wants to take another look at. And that's one thing about all the city councilors. When these things come through and come into their wards, they're all very detailed about the way they look at these. They know it's important to make sure that, to make the right decisions when it comes to rezoning, because zoning is where we really, have a lot of control. Once something's rezoned, then it's rezoned. But at that point, you really take a close look at it, determine if that's what we want for the city or not. And last night, Chris and Joy decided that, hey, they want to take a little bit longer look at this before we move forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, what was it Davy Crockett said? At least I've heard that he said, and you're a historian, you'd know, be sure you're right and then go ahead.
That's sort of what he said. Now, of course, Davy, he went to the Alamo too.
Yeah. By the way, did you hear Mark Hinesley talking about? I forgot now. What did he say? He was talking about. This wasn't today the day the treaty was signed, ending the War of 1812.
That's possible. I'll need to go look at that, and I'm glad Mark went up me on a history fact there. But the War of 1812 was an important war that a lot of people forget about. But of course, that's what got Andrew Jackson on his way up.
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, I think that's what he said this morning. Sometimes when I'm listening, I'm also thinking about the next question I might ask. So I might not have got it, but he did mention you being the historian.
I'll be sure and bring that up.
Okay, all right. Well, back to last night's meeting. We do sometimes need a little extra time to make sure that a zoning change is the right thing to do, and that sounds like that's kind of what it was last night.
It is. That's what they did last night.
Yeah. So what else?
Well, also last night we talked about the Public Works Department. Public Works, they're the ones who pick up our trash and take care of our streets, and they're out there salting the roads and everything now. And their building that they work out of is well, it's probably the third oldest building in the city. Behind the Mitchell House and City Hall. It's been around for decades, and they need a new place. So, when the police department moved out of their old building, the plan was several years ago for Public Works to remodel it and move into it, right there behind Coleman's football field.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been working on that for a while. And so last night, second reading, it passed City Council to go ahead and remodel that building so Public Works can move over there. The good part about that is that 38% of the cost is city funded. The rest of it is coming from a state grant. And then that money that the city is putting in, we will not have to borrow that. We can use money out of the general fund for that. So, this is not something that's going to be any kind of debt going to the future. And we did get state help on it. So that's good. And so that's a positive. But every department over the past few years has gotten a new building. And they've kind of got left behind. So this is something they really need, and it's something I'm glad the City Council was able to pass last night.
Well, I suppose that department has grown some, too, personnel-wise, and even outgrown, if not outdated, where you were or where you are now.
Oh, absolutely. When I've been out there, people are packing there, and it's an older building. I don't know when it was built, but maybe back in the 50s. But it has grown. Like the sanitation department, for example, I heard somebody say one time that, not everybody calls a police officer every day, and not everybody has a fire every day, but we all get our trash picked up every week. And so that department has grown as the city has, because everybody has a trash can.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and of course, our streets need taken care of as well. And that's the department that has grown. You're right about that. And they need a new spot, and I'm glad we could get it for them.
Well, let me ask what kind of plans are there for their old building?
That's something that we really haven't looked at yet. That building is for anything in the future will need a lot of work, and there's a transitionary period as well. As they move over there, some of their operations will continue to be at the old place, which is just across the street. The garage will remain over there for a while, and some storage areas as well. So they'll be going back and forth. It's not like we're totally abandoning that building, but the office space really need to be something new.
Right. Okay. Anything else from last night's meeting you want to discuss?
That's really about it as far as last night's meeting goes. I do want to remind people again. I can't say this enough that sanitation will not be running today. Make sure people just keep their cans by their house today. And this afternoon, we'll get more word out once we have a staff meeting to determine what's going to happen tomorrow and Friday. We really don't know about that yet. But there is one other thing I want to announce.
Let me interrupt. Let me interrupt here just a minute. You're probably tomorrow and Friday, as far as sanitation goes, is going to depend on the weather, and that kind of remains to be seen. How much snow we're going to get in here, how bad it's going to be. So that's certainly understandable. But if you don't get your garbage picked up this week, you're just going to have to wait a little bit. And if the can is full, maybe you can save a little back for the next time or whatever.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're going to get to you. That's going to happen. I just don't know if it'll be tomorrow.
Right.
I'm not sure it'll be Friday. It really depends on the weather.
Right.
Because those big trucks, they don't work well on ice. So, but for sure we'll be back next week and be able to pick up trash. So, rest assured we'll be there. You might have a little bit more. Bags in your can, but we will get there and pick it up, no doubt.
Okay, now back to what you wanted to say, the additional.
Yeah, I just want to say this. When the weather warms up, which it will, we're planning on having a community cleanup day. There's been a committee put together for that. It's going to be May 15th, and that's something I think is important for our city. Sometimes people say if the city looks good, we feel good, and so we want to get out there, have a community effort to go out there and clean up the city and, pick up litter and do some different things. And we're in the early stages of planning that. Some more details will be coming out as the weeks pass. But please mark your calendars for May 15th as Community Cleanup Day.
Okay. All right. I've got something to kind of end with this morning, but anything else you got, go ahead.
Well, there's one more thing I want to say is that and this is belated, but last Friday was Fred Burton's birthday, and I want to say happy birthday to Fred. He's important to our city government, but I know he's important to the radio station as well. And I just wanted to let everybody know that he had that celebration last Friday.
Yeah. Do you know how many years?
Not really. I'm not sure if Fred really lets anybody know how many it is.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's not very far behind me. I think he's at least 80 years old by now.
Well, I was thinking that might be the case. I just wasn't sure.
Well, listen, you are still our historian, and I have this little flyer here with your picture on it. It says Cumberland University Alumni Association presents Cumberland Hour History with Mayor Rick Bell. Enjoy an evening with your fellow Cumberland University alums while listening to historian Rick Bell, former Cumberland University history professor and current mayor of Lebanon. And this is Thursday, February 18th. So that's a week from tomorrow night. Is that right, or is it?
Wait,
no, it's this week.
Actually, it's tomorrow.
I'm sorry. I'm behind you. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow night, 6 to 7. So it's going to be a virtual event on Zoom. So you're supposed to go to a link, I believe, to get on this. Now, is anybody do this? Do they need to go to this link beforehand?
Yeah, go to that link and contact Courtney Vick at Cumberland if you have trouble. Courtney is organizing this, and I appreciate her asking me to do that. To speak to the Coleman Alumni Association and other people who are interested. I am a historian, and it's always fun to talk history. But here's the funny thing: when she called me about that and asked me to speak, she said, "You can talk about anything, just don't talk about the football game against Georgia Tech."
Is this mostly Cumberland history you're going to do, or?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to talk about Cumberland history. I'm going to talk about some of the graduates of Cumberland who have gone on to do things in their lives and have an impact on our country and our region. And so, it's going to be very interesting to let people know about some of the great things that have come from people who walk the halls of Cumberland. And that's always a topic I want to talk about. And it's going to be enjoyable. So please sign up, and listen in, and I'll answer questions as well. So
okay, that is tomorrow night, 6 to 7. You gonna get all this in an hour?
I'm gonna try.
Well, I bet at the top of your Cumberland graduation list would be Cordell Hull.
Well, Cordell Hull, obviously, he's our most famous one. Nobel Peace Prize winner, father of the United Nations.
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State.
Right.
That's history. He is our most well-known graduate. But I tell you, Coleman, there's a lot of other ones out there that people have never heard of, and I'll talk about those too.
Okay. Well, you go, if you go to the Cumberland website, can you find the link to get to this?
You can.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to give this out. We're about out of time here. Listen, thanks so much for being with us this morning. There's that old saying about this too shall pass, and it'll be warmer probably by the weekend, and so we'll endure. And thanks again for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Coleman.
All right. That's Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell, and that is it for a Wednesday. Join us tomorrow for Coleman & Company. Till then, I wish you a wonderful day.